Hey, it's Jason Creel. Let's talk about lawn care equipment. And I want to show you my setup that I'm using for cutting grass, and then talk about what you can do depending on if you're a one-man crew, two-man crew, three-man crew, whatever your situation is, to give you some advice on equipment. So, all right, let's start off with what I have. So I'm not doing a whole lot of mowing, but when I do, I'm, for the most part, working by myself. So this is a 52-inch Mini Z. So it's a Hustler. They don't make the Mini Z anymore. This one is, several years old, but I got it last year. So it has extremely low hours, was homeowner owned. So anyway, I think I paid like $28.50 for it. So I feel good about the price I paid for it, and as far as the conditions in. So for a mower, I prefer, if you're just going to have one zero-turn mower, I prefer either a 48-inch or a 52-inch. That size gives you, enough power and enough size to be able to do larger residential properties, as well as smaller commercial properties, and also is versatile enough that you can use it on just about any property. If you go up to a 60-inch mower, you're getting a little bit large where it may be difficult to use it on some small properties. So I prefer a 48 or 52-inch mower. I'm using, if you just have one mower, they'll easily fit on a 5x10 trailer. That's what this is, single axle with 3,500-pound axle on it. As you can see, I don't have a commercial grade push mower. This is just a Troy built with a Honda engine. I do prefer the Honda engine even on a residential model. I don't do a lot of pushing, and so this is fine. You can obviously upgrade to a commercial grade push mower, which is significantly more powerful and more durable. A trimmer of choice for me, and I've talked about this before, I use Husqvarna trimmers. This is the 326 LS. I don't think they make this model anymore. I like it because it's lightweight, and it's extremely durable. So somebody asked me the other day, since they don't make this model anymore, what would you buy? I think there's a 327 out. I'm not sure the difference, honestly. So I'd probably either get that or a Steel 94R is one I've been hearing about. It's supposed to be good. So for my blower, I've always used Red Max blowers. The blower I have is a 5150, EBZ 5150. I prefer to have the throttle on the tube as opposed to on the offhand. The 5150 is not, there's at least three models bigger than this one that Red Max blows, if Red Max blowers make, but I prefer that size because, one, I don't like toting, feeling like a grown man jumped on my back, so if you're out there and you've got just huge areas to blow, or you do a lot of leaf cleanups, then maybe you need to get the 8500, or a large one. If you're doing mostly residential, small commercial, typically I think this is a perfect size. So I've had the bigger ones too, and they're great. They definitely have more power, but we can talk more about that later. So this is my setup. One zero-turn mower, push mower for backyards, just small gates I can't get through. You notice I don't have a stick edger. I'm just edging with my trimmer, and a Red Max blower on a 5x10 trailer. So if you're a one-person crew starting out, you look at the amount of money invested. If this was, let's say the trailer is $1,000, the mower, I got this one for $28.50. You can get one of these. They're probably $300 new. I think I got this one refurbished for around $200. Trimmers $300, blowers $300. So you're not looking at that much money, honestly, to get started. All right, let's say you're on let's take a look at some different situations. Let's say you're on a bare bones budget and you just want to get started. Let's say maybe you're in high school and you just want to mow some yards, make some extra money. Maybe you're just want to kick the tires on this as a business to see if you like it, or you just don't have very much money to get started. I mean, you can start off with just a push mower. I know people that do that and just target small yards, you know. So, I mean, let's say you spend $300 on a decent push mower, or if you want to spend $1,000 and get a commercial grade one, you can do that. But you could do that, you know, and not even have a trailer. Honestly, you could get by with a push mower, you know, a trimmer and a blower, and you could technically be in business. Now, you're not, you know, production's not going to be great with that setup, but for basically $1,000 you could get going, you know, if you had to. Then if you know, once you outgrow that and you want to jump up to a basically what I'm doing right now, then you just upgrade and get you a zero turn. That'll open up a lot of possibilities, plus you won't get near as tired riding as you do pushing. Let's say you got a two-man crew. What would we do different? Well, the truth is you could just go with the exact same setup. I mean, let's say you're working on a yard. You could have one person ride, the other person use a trimmer, and if you just had one blower, you know, it's basically whoever finishes first grabs the blower and starts blowing. You know, we used to do that a lot, you know, just have one blower even with a three-person crew. It was just known whoever finished first grabbed the blower. Or even possibly, if you had two people trimming at the same time, you might get one to stop a little bit early and go ahead and start blowing. So you could use this exact setup with a two-man crew and wouldn't miss a beat. I think when you go up to a three-man crew, there's some things that could definitely help you. I mean, a stick edger would be easy, and I found that if you had a three-man crew, as long as two of the guys pretty much know what they're doing, then you can be productive. Because the third guy, even if he's not that experienced, you can teach him how to use a stick edger and a blower, and you know, get a decent amount of productivity on them. So let's say you got a three-man crew, you pull up on a yard. One person hops on the mower. You could still get by even with one mower at this point, you know, a mower and a push mower. So you got one person riding, another person grabs the trimmer, and another person grabs the edger. So at this point it may be beneficial to have two trimmers. If you have a three-person crew, that way the guy, let's say there's very little edging, one guy gets done edging, he grabs the other trimmer. So now you got two people trimming. And again, if you have one blower, whoever finishes first grabs the blower, or maybe one of the guys trimming can stop trimming a little bit early and go ahead and get blowing while the other guy finishes trimming. So at this point, it's all about working together as a team and trying to be efficient, where you don't have a man standing around at the truck doing nothing, watching one guy blow off everything. So if that becomes a problem and you need to increase efficiency, you always can get a second blower. And so now you got a mower, you got two trimmers, you got two blowers, and maybe a yard that has a small gate. So you got one guy that's pushing the back, another guy's riding the big mower on the front. You know, when the other guy's starting to edge or use a trimmer, and again, you want to just time it to where everybody's working, and you don't end up where two people sitting back at the truck playing on their cell phone while the last guy blows off, you know, everything. So it's all about efficiency and working together as a team, and this goes into you, the owner, training your employees on, you know, what's expected and how we're going to make this thing run efficient. The other thing that's great is if you've got many yards in the same neighborhood, what we used to do is, you know, the guy on the mower, if he finished this yard, he could just drive the mower down to the next yard. Go ahead and start cutting that one too. You know, we're not going to load it back up on the trailer, wait till we finish, and then I'll hop down the truck to drive, you know, 4 houses down and unload again. He can go on down there and we just keep it rolling, you know. So again, it's all about efficiency. So let's say you want to upgrade and go with two mowers. What would you do? Well, there's a couple options. You can, let's say if you have an area that has a lot of hills, you may want to consider a walk-behind mower. They perform better on hills. And you also could double as maybe a mower that's a little bit smaller that could fit through some gates. You may want to get a bagging mower. Let's say if you're in an area where a lot of people like to have their grass bagged, you could get a Walker or Exmark Navigator. And so then now you've got one larger zero-turn mower. You maybe have a 42-inch Walker or 42-inch Exmark Navigator. that would also be able to fit through some backyards and also give you that bagging capability if you wanted that. You may get a stand-on mower. My experience with the stand-on mowers, I don't have much experience with them, but what I understand is they're not really designed for hills. You look at them, they look kind of like a walk behind. You think, well, these ought to be good on hills. I don't think they perform as well on hills as even a riding mower. So they're not for hills, but what they do allow you is that, take up a small amount of space on your trailer. And so if that's an issue and you want to have a compact mower, then a stand-on mower may be a consideration. So just a lot of things you can go as you get to a 3 or 4 person crew, and just depending on the setup of your properties. I mean, if you have larger properties, maybe you get a 60-inch mower and a smaller 48-inch mower to handle some of the smaller ones. And so if you don't have any large properties, then there would be no reason to get a 60-inch mower. You could have 2 48s or a 48 and a 36-inch walk behind. So it's really all based on the type lawns and properties that you are taking care of and sort of the direction you're wanting your business to go. So anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts on equipment. Everybody has preferences and opinions on what's the best mower, best trimmers. I just simply give my opinion. This is what I use, this is what I like. It doesn't mean it's the only brands that are any good. It's not true at all. So I'd like to hear what you think. And if you have, 1-person crew or 2-person crew, you can, maybe in the comments leave what kind of equipment you use and what's the best setup. Because the truth is, you can't have a mower or a piece of equipment for every situation. I mean, you can, but there's no sense in spending money and saying, well, I work by myself, I got 3 yards that want it bagged, I got 2 yards I could use a 36-inch walk behind, I've got that one big property, it'd be nice if I had a 60-inch mower. And so you got one person, you got 20 yards and 4 zero-turn mowers. You're not making any money. So there has to be some give and take on which mower is going to be versatile that I can use on a lot of properties, even though it may not be ideal for every single one. So hope that helps. Leave your feedback in the comments section. Look forward to hearing from you. Thanks.